Okay, so now we are getting into a more, it could be interesting for some, maybe not for others. So it's talking about scales and chords, and of course this is important for making a song. It's really not as complicated as you might think. So if you have no experience in this, you don't really need to worry. I will show you everything right here in a very simple way. So you don't need to be a master of music theory and knowledge to know how to make some nice sounding chords. So first I want to put this drum pattern I made from before into right here into the playlist, and what we are going to do is create a new pattern right here. I'm going to call it piano. Okay, and we can give it a color, why not? We'll make it green. Okay, and so now we have this selected, we can add it to our playlist. So now going back to the channel rack, so in piano what I want to do is add. I'm going to add right here, and I'm going to choose FL keys, which you should have. So FL keys is a simple piano tool or plugin or synthesizer, and you can choose a normal piano, choose a grand piano, or these Rhodes, or this organ. So we will use the grand piano for now. Okay, so what I want to do is, well, we will rename this to piano. So we are going to go to the piano roll right here, which I showed you last time, and you can see these different notes right here. We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and it repeats. We also have these black notes, which are sharp notes. We will talk about that in a moment, but the easiest and most basic scale to know is the C scale, and this is because it only includes these white notes. So you only need to use these white notes to make it sound. It will sound okay. We can say there is a bit more to know. So let's say we create one note right here, which is C, and have a listen. Okay, and we can put one on D and play it together. Sounds a little weird. Let's put one on E. Maybe it could sound okay, maybe not. So a really good simple rule for chords, basic chords, is to use one note, miss out one note, use the next note, miss out another, and use the next one above. So C, E, G would be a very nice sounding standard note in the C scale. So let's have a listen. So you can see that sounds much better than using C, D, E. Right, C, E, G with one space between each note sounds a lot better. Okay, so you could even add skip A and add B and make it a bigger note, or a bigger chord, sorry, and it sounds a lot fuller. Right, it sounds could be a bit weird, depends how you make your song. You can put one on C and experiment with how you want it to sound. Okay, so yeah, that's one simple thing, and this also works going downwards. So we skip B and we go to A, we skip G and go to F, and we could have an F-A-C chord. Right, and we can now put these together. So we could put the F-A-C, and next we can use the same rule and use a G, G, B, D. So we're skipping C and we're skipping A. So let's have a listen to these two together. Right, so they sound nice together, following this simple rule. So let's try another one. A, C, E. So we've skipped D and we've skipped B. Let's have a listen. Alright, and then we can try one more. Maybe we will go down this time. We will begin at E, and then we can go to G and then to B. Yeah. So we've skipped A and we skipped F. It sounds like a nursery rhyme to me or something. But yeah, so this would be a simple C scale, and part of this lecture you're going to see in the description or the resources you'll find a link to different scales. You can even find these on Google if you search, for example, F scale or F sharp scale or something scale, one of these letters and scale. You will find all of the different notes which can be used in that scale, and following the simple rule of missing the one up and going every two, you will be able to make simple chords, and this is without knowing any music theory. So this is one great way to begin, I would say. So if we put this piano twice here in the playlist and go to song mode, and then I play both of these together, so this will now play the drums and the piano at the same time, right, as it's going across together. So let's have a listen. So you can see this is how you can start to form your song, right, by adding and removing different things and going all the way across, putting something wherever, and this will create your full song eventually. So going back to the piano roll, we can right click piano roll, or you can simply just click right here on this interface and it will take you to the piano roll. We could even edit these sounds. Maybe they're all too short, you want them to be longer, could be. So what we could do is again control left click and drag, and you can select multiple notes, multiple chords. You can move them sideways, move them up and down if you like. So let's move these sideways, and I'm going to move them like this so there's a gap between, and I'm going to select all of them and drag by just selecting the end of any note here, and it will drag all of them at the same time because they're all selected. So we can drag them all out like this and it will make it twice as long. So you can see now these chords are twice as long and it will sound like this. Which sounds a bit more chilled, I guess. Sounds more chilled. And another thing we can do with chords is we could chop them up. So there is a feature which if you click this arrow right here and you go to Tools and you see Chop. So, or you can press Alt and U on your keyboard. So Chop will bring up this interface here, and you see it's created many short versions of this, or short chords, and it will sound very crazy like this. So what we can do is use this time I don't even know, multiplicator. Okay, so yeah, we can use this and we can make them a lot. Yeah, you can change the time, as you see here, how many you want to have going on. So let's say I choose this selection here, so there are 4, and I press accept. You can also change a few things like velocity right here, change a release and pan. And pan is if you hear it in your left or right ear. But here I think not sure if it would be panning left or right, but I will talk about panning later when it comes to using the mixer and so on. But okay, so simply we just change the time and then we accept, and then we have a listen to this. So you can see how it's manipulated the time and multiplied it by 4, right? And we could do the same for this one, so Alt U, and it saved our selection of 4 here, so we can quickly accept, and we can listen to this one now with the drums right in the song selection. Okay, so yeah, this would be the simple way of using some chords and creating a beginning for something. Also, if you select this piano, you're not tied down to using the grand piano. You can always edit anything you like here. You can change to this Rhodes sound. Let's have a listen. And maybe you don't want this, you don't want FL keys altogether. You can right click here, replace with anything else. So a different synthesizer, for example. One that you should also have would be, let's say, GMS. I think, yeah, everybody should have GMS. This looks also like there's a lot going on, but we will focus mainly on this interface right here. You can see basses. If I click on this basses in bank, and you have all different type of sounds here, like leads and synths, pads and textures. So if we choose maybe this one, digichord, and you can play this pattern, right? So we can have a listen to this. And you can just go through these, select one that you might like. So you get the point there, that you can choose all different types of sounds in these different, if you see here, these different generators. Yeah, they would be called generators as the main way, but you could call them plugins. It's fine. So yeah, there are many types here that you can experiment with sounds, which again we will talk about more in a different part. But this is the main way of creating chords and creating and learning about these scales. Again, Google is a really great way to learn about these different scales. It's how I learned them, by simply just using the scales, using the demo projects too. If you remember, let me go back to demo projects, demo songs. Okay, so let's choose one at random here. Like this one, again, we will choose from Asher Postman. And I didn't save the previous project, as we will start a new one later on to create an actual track. Okay, which you can follow along with. So this one, you can see here, is 126 beats per minute. I like to check this at the beginning because it can give me a great idea of what type of genre it is. And between 120 and 130 is typically house music. And we can see, or we can have a listen. Yeah, so from this, what I would advise you to do is go into these different patterns, like this one here. You can go to the channel rack. You can see what this pattern includes. So it includes these sounds, this kick, this clap, and this other clap, and the side chain. We will also talk about side chaining, which is very important to make your song sound cleaner, and also different layers of sounds, like two low sounds, a kick and a bass. They won't interfere with each other, or some other sounds that are playing at the same time. You want them to not interfere with each other, to not be so loud and annoying. So that would be important to talk about. So we can go into this. You can go to pattern mode, and you can learn how this person used these different sounds in the pattern, and you can copy a very similar way to them. Yeah, so you can hear right here the different sounds, the kick and the claps playing at which time. And if we go to another one, we have mini hats, he called it, and we have a listen to these hi-hats. Yeah, and then we have something like vocals right here, vocal chops, but part of this part of the course, most importantly, these chords. So we have this one, this sound, which is not playing right now. It's not playing now, I think, because where I selected on the song. Not too sure why, actually, but if we go to keys, this one will be better. So yeah, so keys, he used FL keys, like I showed you, this grand piano, and I'm sure with a lot of editing in the mixer, which we will talk about. And if you check out the piano roll, you can I go to pattern mode, and you can see how to make a house or a deep house style with the piano. Right, so we have a listen. I really like that one. I like the sound, the edits, the editing that he did on this, and it has a really nice deep house party feel to this song. And I can play this part for you right now. So it begins here. You can see in the playlist the piano starts right here, or we should start it here. Yeah, so pretty nice song to learn from. And this one specifically, I did learn quite a lot from many. Well, it wasn't even, maybe it was last year or the year before. I got some new ideas from this. Yeah, you can check out all of these. And below, you see that we have some different effects which we will use and discuss in more detail. They can make your song more diverse. It's good to be having a few different effects like this. You'll hear this in a lot of songs if you focus on the songs more. Once you know that these things exist in the song, you'll hear them so much more, like this sound. Right, it could be a simple clap, it could be sounds very airy, like and this is used when the song drops typically, right, to give it more of a powerful hit, a powerful feel. And the opposite one that we heard goes up, and this is to help with the build up, to build momentum, and you know that the drop is coming. Okay, and these sounds, I will also show you where you can find a lot more sounds than what's here inside FL Studio, because these it's quite limited to what sounds you can use. Like this SFX is sound effects, and that's what these are at the bottom. Yeah, so you can hear a lot of different effects you can use and be creative with them to make your song. Okay, so that's the simple basics of chords and scales, and again you can find in the description or the things attached to this part of the course. It will give you some links, tips, advice on where to find scales and how to use them.